Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. I want to share some local SEO tips that you guys can apply to your Google business profile and even website to rank better for your target keywords to get more leads for your business. So to start, I use Local Falcon. That's my primary local SEO tool of choice. So I ran the keyword scan for SEO companies in a 30-mile radius. This is how you read this map. Every green dot here, so dots 1, 2, and 3, that means you're on page 1 of Google. So what does that mean? If I go to directly this dot over here, number 2, I'm the second listing that shows up directly in Saratoga Springs for someone searching for SEO companies. You can click on view screenshot and it brings you to this view over here. So again, Google only displays 3 organic map pack listings on page 1 of Google. Therefore, if I go back into this map over here, you can get an idea that in this 30-mile radius, I'm on page 1 of Google 66% of the time. Let's look at the next listing over here. They're on it just under 40%. Then this is under 22%. And this is under 20%, etc., etc. So the reason why I share this is that let's pretend you are a paint and sip company and your target keywords are paint and sip near me, and then maybe let's just pretend it's paint and sip, Queens, New York or something. So if you run those scans and you're ranking at a 0%, it's probably why you're not getting a lot of phone calls and website clicks and leads to your business, because effectively you have to rely on your brand name to get those visits. But from a non-brand perspective, people searching for that, they can't find you. And this map will actually show you that. So now that we know that, for this example, TM Blast, my business is at the very top, this is what I would do next. So let's just pretend I am this divide by 9 company over here. They have a just under 12% share. I'm going to click on compare locations. I'm going to compare them to TM Blast. This is a very quick gap analysis that I always recommend. So you want to look at things like how many reviews does the top company have, and then how many categories do they have. So here's my thought process. Here you can see that I have 35 reviews, they have 14. I'm not saying that more reviews is why I'm ranking better, but that's a gap. So if I was, let's say, a moving company or a psychic or an HVAC company, if I noticed that and I went to my profile and I haven't gotten a review in about 10 months, I'm going to work on moving forward. Any new customers I get, I'm going to encourage them to leave a review on Google, maybe even on a third-party site as well, because that's a gap. The second gap is these categories. So maybe I have too many categories and maybe I'm not ranking as well for really anything. If that's the case, I would recommend to remove secondary categories, really only have 1 or 2, like a primary category and a secondary category. See what that does though for your rankings. I always recommend that. All right, so now that we looked at the map and we understand, okay, this is how TM Blast ranks, let's look at some more information. So to start, let me exit out of this. You search for TM Blast. One of the first things that's actually going to pop out is that I have a book online button. This, I believe, is a ranking factor, and let me explain why. Let's go back into the data results over here. You search for SEO companies. I'm basically the only company that shows up that has this book online button. So I tell this to all my clients, a real snapshot like this, you look at all the results, everyone, okay, 5-star reviews, great, whatever. The book online, though, stands out. It's something that for them to actually click on, to interact with, and potentially book your service. So if you are a nail salon, if you are a hair salon, if you are a moving company, if you are a restaurant, if you are, an HVAC company, if you have the ability for people to book your service, I recommend getting on reserve with Google. It'll integrate directly with your Google business profile. I've noticed this increases leads. Again, the dwell time, the click activity, someone searching for SEO companies, or really could be any keyword, really. They click on your profile, they click on the book online button. Those are signals that Google is using, saying, okay, got it, this is a good experience. Let me try to increase their ranks a little bit more, because ultimately Google wants to deliver a high quality experience every time for that user. Next, we talk about this all the time. Having a physical address is a ranking factor. I've actually debated people on this, and I've heard, hey, it doesn't matter as much. Every time I run a local Falcon scan, almost always the top listings have a physical address. So hypothetically, you might say, hey, Greg, I'm not going to pay $500 a month for an office rent. My counter to this is this. Let's pretend you're running Google ads on a monthly basis. You spend $500 a month on that. Let's pretend every cost per click for there is $10. So you get 50 clicks. That's $500 now you spend on that. Let's pretend that out of those 50 clicks that you got to your website, 10% of those fill out the form. So that's 5 people now have filled out the form. And let's say historically you close 20% of those. So you close one of those leads for $500. That's a pretty high cost per acquisition when you back into it, assuming let's just pretend you're like a moving company. That's my recommendation. I would say pause your Google ads, buy or rent a physical location where you can display your company. And that's actually going to help you rank better than for terms like movers near me, moving companies near me, office movers, etc. Those clicks are actually going to surpass your Google ads budget of 50 clicks per month. and you're not going to be paying for those clicks. So the physical address will help you rank better. This will actually be a better return on investment because SEO should compound as it continues to expand the map. I always try to explain it like that. Next, products, they're not necessarily a direct ranking factor, but I believe they actually help with dwell time, so people can click on your hourly SEO consulting thing. They can read a little bit about what you do. I think these are all small ranking factors. Finally, the updates section I think is a dwell time factor, not necessarily from a keyword ranking perspective, but if I was going to, go to a restaurant or hire a moving company or HVAC, if you can share updates of what the team is doing, I think it adds authenticity of, this business. I think people can spend more time on your profile. And then so even some call to actions to like learn more or call now. These are very simple ways to get people to interact with your business. All right. Next, what I want to share is for SEO companies. Here's a real quick tip. Click on these three dots over here for your brand name. Now, this is all the information that Google has from a snapshot perspective of how your business ranks. You can actually do this for your competitors. So you can actually look to see what third-party sites your competitors are listed on. So, for example, if you don't have Ahrefs or SEMrush and you can't pay for backlink analytics, Google your competitors' names and click on this, see what sources pull up. You might want to get on those to help improve your ranks a little bit. All right, let's look at the website. I'm going to just go by everything. I'm not going to explain like landing pages or title tags, but what I want to really stress is that in your footer on your website, you should have your business address, your phone number, and your email address. Next, what I do is I have my social media icons below that. And then finally, I embed my Google business profile directly down here. This is that connection between my profile and also my website. On the far right, I have reviews. I have Google reviews, and I also have something called Trustindex reviews. So let's go back into my business profile. I just want to explain this a little bit. So when you Google TM Blast, you get 35 reviews over here. That's from Google. But if you scroll down a little bit, I have these Trustindex reviews. So you click on that. This is a third-party site. How this works is that you can see exactly how people leave. This is a third-party site where people can actually leave reviews for your business. So you can sync in your Google reviews. You can also, there's so many like apps like the App Store, you can sync those reviews in, but this is a good one-stop shop to show people, your reviews. So what I mean by that is that, for example, let me go back and show you real quick. If I search for TM Blast reviews over here, notice how my website shows up, but then also have trustindex.io shows up as well. So this is a powerful backlink. It shows your reviews and it helps give more signals to Google to rank me for SEO companies. So again, for all my local SEO clients, I recommend getting on Trustindex. It brings in those Google reviews, plus also third-party sites, which I think Google is using as well. All right. Next, I recommend to go into Bing and search for your brand name. Over here on the right-hand side, there's a knowledge panel. This is from LinkedIn. So that's a third-party site as well. You might want to get on that. So again, if you're an HVAC company or moving company and say, hey, I don't really need to be on LinkedIn, I recommend you do. You can put your name, your address, your phone number directly there. You have a little bit of a description. And this is brought in by Bing, which tells me also that Google's probably going to be looking at that as well for another signal to make sure that they can rank your company better for the term, SEO companies. So using Bing is a great idea. You can do this for all of your competitors. So again, if you search for your competitor who's a mover, maybe they're on TripAdvisor or Yelp and you're not there, that might be a place you actually want to get listed on. I think Google's using that as another third-party site to basically rank who should be at the top. All right, last but not least, here's another quick tip. Go to Google and put in your website address. So for me, it's tmblast.com, and then do -site tmblast.com. These are all the third-party sites that Google knows about for my business. So you can actually go to every single page over here, and you can see exactly how, like what Google knows about your business that's not on your website. This is a really easy way to get some backlink ideas. So for your local business, maybe you are an HVAC company. You look up your competitor and they're on Chamber of Commerce's in Ballston Spa, Clifton Park, Albany, Glens Falls, Saratoga. If that's the case, you want to get on them as well because those powerful directories are probably being pulled in by Google to rank them better for their target keywords. That's kind of what I've done for my business. But anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I really wanted to explain sort of how I think about local SEO for my business and then how it translates over to my clients. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And as always, have a good rest of your day.